Hello and welcome back to Heirs and Graces. And the second time I tried to record this part because I got 20 seconds in and my phone rang. So I figured it was easier to just go back to the beginning. I'm on my way past the kitchen when I notice that it's awfully quiet. Usually there's at least several noises going on around this time of day, ranging from boiling water to idle chatter between servants. I end up taking a peek, letting curiosity get the better of me. Sitting at the table with his head buried in his hands is Vincent. I back off quickly, wondering if I'm seeing something that I'm not supposed to. I take another step away from the kitchen before stopping. Is it really okay to just leave him in that condition? He certainly didn't look okay. I head back to the doorway, take another peek as I weigh my options. I need to decide what I want to do. I think I should ask him what's wrong. I take a cautious step forward and do my best not to startle him when I ask my first question. Vincent, is everything alright? Vincent lifts his face, eyes wide, and he blushes brightly and stands up quickly as he can, straightening out his clothes as he goes. I apologize. I did not notice you were there. Vincent. I cut him off, trying to keep him from rattling off apologies. Yes? Is everything alright? Vincent's face falls, and his shoulders slump as he lets out a small sigh. No, I'm afraid it is not. Well, do you want to talk about it? You don't have to if you don't want to, but if I can help, I'm hoping you'll let me. Relationship up. Relationship up! Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Sorry. Vincent crosses his arms and weighs his options before confessing. Our cook quit. Apparently Lord Sandor threw about one too many insults regarding his last dish. There was something wrong with it then. No, there shouldn't have been anything wrong with it. It tasted fine when I tested it. I think Lord Sandor is just bored with soups. It can't really be helped, though. Vincent lets out another sigh as he runs a hand through his hair. He seems to be really worried about this. Well, surely there's someone who could take over from the cook. I mean, he would have gotten days off every once in a while. Who was put in charge of cooking then? Vincent lets out a small groan. A woman who quit about a week before you arrived. Lord Sandor angered her too, I'm afraid. I haven't had a chance to replace her yet. I'd asked Lisa or Rain, since they work in the kitchen pretty regularly, but I sent them into town to pick up some items before our cook walked out on us. If I wait for them, Lord Sandor's meal will be late, and I don't know the first thing about cooking. He looks at me as if he's just admitted the mass murder of innocents and wants me to strike him down to enact divine retribution. I let out a loud sigh, hardly believing how big of an issue he's making this into. I try to use a rational tone when I continue. Well, it's Lord Sandor's fault he's in this predicament. He'll have to settle for whatever he gets at this point. It can't be helped. Vincent doesn't seem to like that solution. Not one bit, actually. Anything less than perfection is apparently unacceptable. I let out another sigh before trying something else. Look, I'm not a master chef or anything like that, but there's one dish I'm pretty good at making, and it happens to be potato soup. And I pretty much have a guarantee that Lord Sandor will like it. My mum used to make it for him before she taught me. Of course, I didn't exactly tell Vincent that part. Just let me take care of it, okay? But that's... You're sure? Yeah, I should be able to handle it. You'll need to find a new cook right away, though. I was serious when I said it was the one dish I'm good at. All I'm doing is buying you some time. I understand. Thank you, Marcel. It's not a big deal. It is, though. If I were more competent... Cut him off, not wanting to start him beating himself up over something silly. Well, let's get to it then. Can't keep Lord Sandor waiting forever. Vincent snaps to attention, perking up before saying, Right, I'll assist in any way I can. And before I can give him any directions, Vincent goes to the various cabinets and pulls out a few things he knows I'll need. I'm not as familiar with the kitchen as he is, so it's a great help. What ingredients do you need? Obviously potatoes, but what else? Well, for starters, water. That one should be easy. I'll also need some flour. I continue listing off ingredients, and Vincent nods his head and produces each one, till I start getting a bit fancy and asking for more unusual things. Even then, he's able to give me over half of them. I know I should stick to the basics so I don't screw it up, but I've never had a chance to work with some of the more uncommon ingredients. I rein myself in a little bit, but still end up with a fancy cheese and a couple of vegetables I normally wouldn't put in. Do you have everything you need? Yup. And more. Good. I was a bit worried when we didn't have everything you asked for. Ah, well. You know, there's a lot of ways to make it, so... Now I feel a little bad about it. Vincent, do you mind peeling potatoes? It'd be a big help. Not at all. When you're done with that, could you cut them into small cubes? I can. How many do you need me to do? Well, if it's only for Lord Sandor, I don't really need that many. Still, better safe than sorry, and I'd like to have some left over so I can try it. Let's go with 3 for now. Got it. I watch him for a moment, make sure he's got a good grasp on the task. I didn't need to bother. Vincent's doing fine. I'm beginning to doubt I even needed to help. With a recipe to follow, it's quite possible he'd have done fine on his own. This is how well he does with something he's uncomfortable with. I can't help but feel a little jealous. Am I doing something wrong? Vincent blushes slightly. Well, you were staring at me. I thought I might not be doing an adequate job. No, sorry, you're not doing anything wrong. I just got a little lost in thought. I turn back to the counter and get to work on my part of the cooking. We both work on our assigned tasks for a while before I decide it's too quiet. I figure a small chat would change that. Besides, I might as well take this opportunity to get to know Vincent better. So you really don't have any experience cooking? I've helped out with some of the smaller tasks before, but I've never been put in charge of making a dish together by myself, or anything like that, so... Well, no, not really. Not even before you started working for Lord Sandor? No. Before I started working here, I lived with my grandparents. My grandma did all the cooking. When I was a kid, I'd ask if I could help out. Is it just me, or given his usual speech patterns as a word kid, feel very out of place in that sentence? Hang on. When I was a child, I could help out every once in a while, but she always told me that I should spend my time outside playing and making friends instead. I'm having a hard time picturing Vincent playing and making friends. The Vincent I know is way too serious for that kind of thing. No offence, but I don't get the sense you were very good at that. Vincent lets out a small laugh. It's a bit surprising, but I have to admit it's kind of a nice sound. Well, I wasn't. Of course, I never gave it a real attempt. Instead of trying, I'd just wander around aimlessly, make up imaginary friends to tell my grandparents about when I went back home. I was too shy to approach the other children. I still couldn't stand the idea of disappointing my grandparents. More than anything, I didn't want to be an inconvenience. Were they strict or something? No, not at all. It's just... I felt bad that they got stuck raising me. It should have been my parents' job, but they were never around. I don't even remember what they looked like, to be honest. It's horrible. Well, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. You can't really miss people you don't know. I had my grandparents, and that was more than enough. I didn't want to make things harder for them. Sounds like you were a good kid. How about you? Me? Yes. What were you like as a child? I was a brat. I only had my mom to raise me, so a lot of the kids that lived in the area made fun of me for it. It was fine when their insults were directed at me, but... whenever they said something about my mom... Well, I got into a lot of fights. Even won some of them. It sounds like your childhood was much harsher than mine. I don't know about that. How do we get onto this subject anyway? You were talking about me being bad at cooking. You're not bad at it, you just never learned. Actually, I think you'd end up being really good if you put in the effort. Perhaps. Vincent slips into a thoughtful silence, so I leave him alone and focus on my own work. Soon enough, everything is chopped and ready to go in the pot. Vincent and I talk some more as we wait, but it isn't nearly as personal as the conversation we'd had earlier. It's just idle chatter about things that have been going on in town lately. I stir the soup one last time before calling it good. Well, it's done. It smells good. Want to try some? You have to taste test it anyway, don't you? Vincent nods. I pull a small bowl and ladle some of the potato soup into it before handing it over to Vincent. After pulling a spoon from a nearby drawer, he takes the bowl from me and waits for it to cool before trying it. It's actually really good. Told you I was an expert. Even so, Lord Sandor might not have any nice things to say about it. If that's the case, he could choke on it. That's what I'd like to say, but of course I don't. Oh, that's fine. Better not keep him waiting. Right. Vincent gives me a nod and gets to work preparing a tray of food for Lord Sandor. Once he's done, he takes it up to him, leaving me alone in the kitchen. I start cleaning up what I can, and when I finish that up, I take a seat at the table and wait for Vincent to get back. I have to wait several minutes, but eventually he re-enters the kitchen. So, how'd it go? Well, Lord Sandor didn't say a word. That's well. For Lord Sandor, yes. If he didn't take the time to make any negative comments, that means that he enjoyed it. Ah. He seemed a bit surprised, too. I guess there was something about it he wasn't expecting, but I'm not sure. I guess he remembers what Mom's cooking tasted like, even after all these years. Still, it wouldn't have tasted exactly like hers. I made a few changes here and there. Perhaps his surprise was over something else entirely. I guess in the end it doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm even giving it this much thought. Thank you again. You really helped me out. Oh, yeah, no problem. You know, if you ever need help, you should ask for it. Stressing over it by yourself doesn't solve the problem. Vincent gives me a small smile. You're right, of course. I don't know if his answer means that he'll actually listen to my suggestion, but at least he's acknowledging that he was being silly about it. That's a start, anyway. Okay, so what do we want to do for next week? So Vincent's at 5%, nobody else is there. And if I want, I can disable the thing. So let's focus on a Decorum for the time being, I think. That makes sense to everybody else. Given that at the moment we've only met 2 of the potential love interests, so I'll focus on Decorum for a little while and see how that goes. Plus, to be fair, I do quite like doing the posh voice. It's fun. It's one of the few I could genuinely do. Let's face it, I'm from Durham. We are a relatively posh city. That's Durham, England, not Durham, North Carolina, incidentally, if you're, not aware. Great city, lots of awesome cathedrals. Well, one, but it's so awesome that it counts for like 12 normal cathedrals. Seriously, if you want to argue that your city has a better cathedral than Durham, I will challenge you to a sword fight. And I'll win, because I'm actually trained to fight you with a sword. Actually, no, to be fair, people who've never held a sword before are actually really difficult to fight. Because they don't have any of the ingrained training that means they handle it properly, which means they'll do something completely unexpected. I head up the stairs with a tray of food in my hand. Today's menu is a simple tomato soup with a roll on the side. It's not exactly what I'd be eating if I had near limitless fortune, but I suppose Lord Sandor can eat whatever he wants. When I reach the last step, I stop and take a breath. This will be my first time actually meeting him. I don't know if I'm ready. It's not like I'll be talking to him or anything, though. All I have to do is deliver his meal and then leave. That's it. I work myself through the steps and summon up the courage to proceed. I reach for the doorknob as the door swings open. It hits my hand, which in turn bumps the tray, jarring it slightly as a man exits the room. Oh! I'm sorry, I didn't expect anyone to be there. I pay him little mind and look over the tray, making sure everything is still in place. Miraculously, it wasn't hit enough to send the soup sprawling over the side of the bowl, and I let out a sigh of relief. It's okay. Are you sure? I didn't hurt you or anything, did I? No harm done, I promise. Oh, thank goodness. Now that I'm calmer, I take a second to look the man over properly. He has a kind face that looks honestly relieved I didn't inflict any harm. I haven't seen him around the mansion before. Considering the small number of servants that Lord Sandor actually employs, I think I would recognise him if he was just another servant. It's the leather medical bag he holds at his side that gives me a clue I need to piece it together. You're a doctor? Yes, that's right. I go quiet, mulling over the implications. If a doctor is here, Lord Sandor is ill. The doctor frowns, a pitying expression clear in his face. No one has told you? No. My answer seems to come from someone who isn't me. It echoes in my brain and an unreal feeling flows through my body. I'm not quite sure what to do with this new information. I try to shake it, telling myself I shouldn't care. He deserves it. Are you okay? I look up at the doctor, coming back to the present moment. Sorry, I should get his meal to him. Ah, yes, I've held you up. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Let's just call it even. What do you mean? Well, I held you up too. I see. He smiles, and I'm a bit taken aback by how genuine it seems. Alright, we're even. If I'm not imposing too much, can I ask your name? Only if I can ask yours. My name is Borgias, and mine is Marcel. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Borgias. The pleasure is mine, Marcel. I hope the next time we meet it will be under more favourable conditions. He gives me a small bow and takes his leave, and I watch him go until he reaches the stairs, and I decide I've wasted enough time. I open the door to Lord Sandor's room and head in. You sure took your dear sweet time. Apologies, your lordship. It won't happen again. It better not. I don't pay people to make me wait. Before I can finish his sentence, he breaks into a fit of coughs. In a hurry, I set the tray down on the nightstand and go to his side. I may not be on the best terms with him, but I'm not about to leave a helpless person. Instead, I'm not exactly sure what I can do for him. I bite my lip, weighing the options before realising the obvious one. I'm going to get the doctor. I turn to go when Lord Sandor reaches out and grabs my wrist. Don't! He closes his eyes and lets another horrible series of coughs. I try to pull away, but he tightens his grip and repeats the order. I said don't! I go limp, and his grip loosens in turn. However, he doesn't let go. I try to use a gentle tone as I switch to a more diplomatic tactic. He can help. If you just let me go get him, he can... He's useless. They're all useless. He takes a strained breath. I'm in enough pain as it is. I don't need him poking around, finding more things to try and fix. Just stay put. It'll pass. The coughing grows worse and beads of sweat form in his brow as he gasps for air. I bite my lip and avert my gaze. I don't want to watch this. I want to chase after Dr. Borgias, bring him back here so he can deal with it instead of me, but, well, Lord Sandor's made it clear that's not what he wants. Still, standing here, doing nothing, it feels wrong. Each cough grates on my psyche, but, like he said it would, it does eventually pass. When it's finally over, he leans back in his bed, completely drained. He turns his head towards me and uses a raspy voice to address me. You're new, aren't you? Don't think I recognize you. That's right. Come here. I avoid making eye contact as I take a reluctant step towards him. I know he's never met me before, but I still have the unreasonable fear that he'll recognize me if I get too close. Eyes on me when I'm talking to you. That's basic knowledge. Surely Vincent gave you the lecture. I blush brightly in embarrassment and force my eyes to meet his. For a brief second his eyes go wide. But he shakes it off quickly and resumes his previous composed expression. However, he lets a solid minute pass before finally speaking again. Did she send you here? What? Did your mother send you here to confront me? I don't know what... He raises his voice, drowning out mine as he shouts. Don't lie to me! Did you think I was stupid? Did you think I wouldn't figure it out? You look exactly like Mara. How could I not know? He figured it out. He figured it out so easily. My head reels as I try to come up with a convincing lie, but I can't. The only thing my brain's able to focus on is the fact that I've been discovered. I didn't want to know, I really didn't, but now that the information is out there, I can't stop myself from coming to my mother's defense. My mom didn't send me. She doesn't even know I'm here. She doesn't want anything to do with you ever again. Who could blame her after what you put her through? You don't know the first clue about what she had to do to get by after you left her. I'm the one who couldn't let it go. A silence settles between us, and I take a moment to take a deep breath. I need to calm down. I need to think clearly. Lord Sandor lowers his voice. There's no more anger to it. Just a cold observation. Oh my... Oh, bloody long weekend. So, I was right. You are my son. I pale slightly. Guess there really is no hiding it now. You have no right to call me your son. Not when you skipped out on the whole being a father part. Fair enough. Let's hear a name so I can stop calling you son then. What did Mora end up calling you? I bit my lip, deciding whether or not I should tell him. But I guess it doesn't make a difference. Marcel. Cute. I feel my cheeks grow hot, and though I can't see my own face, I'm sure it's red. He's making me angry, and I think it's intentional. I shouldn't have told him my name. I shouldn't have come here. What did I honestly expect from him? Instead of giving him a verbal reply, I turn to leave. Wait. I ignore him, keep heading for the door. I said wait! Marcel, please! put my hand on the doorknob and stop. I don't have to listen to him, despite what he may think. All I have to do is open the door and leave. I've sated my curiosity. There's no doubt in my mind that he's as horrible as my mother made him out to be. So what's keeping me here now? I try to get my body to move, but for some reason I can't. I can't seem to bring myself to complete that one last step. Instead, I ask, why? I want to talk to you. Well, I don't want to talk to you. And listen. I promise it'll be worth your time. Against my better judgment, I let go of the doorknob, turn back towards him. I stay next to the door, but I do give him the chance to speak. How is she? That's none of your business. You lost the right to know when you left her. He sighs. You love your mother, right? You'd take an opportunity to make life easier for the two of you, yes? Cross my arms. The answer should be obvious. Knowing that he at least has my attention, he continues. As it turns out, I don't have an heir. I didn't come here for your money. Well, that would be a first. He says it with a wry chuckle that turns into another cough. Anyway, who am I to judge? It might be why you're here and it might not. It doesn't matter. Surely you understand the value of money. If your life really has been as hard as you've suggested, then you have to know. I'm not proud of it, but he is right about that. When you talk to most people, they'll say things like love are more important than money. They're not. You learn that when you're starving because you can't afford anything to eat. I half wish I could have retained the delusion that lets people think otherwise, but I've been jaded for a long time now. I do. Good. I'm glad we settled that. What do I have to do? Just prove to me that you can handle the position. If you could do that, I'll name you my heir. Heir? God, he can't be serious, can he? That would... No, don't think about that. It's not that easy. It's never that easy. Don't get ahead of yourself. Keep a level head. And what exactly do I need to do to prove that? Keep up your work as a servant. Listen, observe. Learn from everyone around you. Understand how everything in this mansion works, from both a servant's perspective and a lord's. Do that and my entire fortune will go to you. And how do I know you'll keep to that? You didn't exactly stay with my mother when you said you loved her. How can you expect me to believe anything you say? He lets out an annoyed groan. Again with your mother. Still, I guess I should be grateful you didn't turn out totally daft. Look at it this way. Even if I don't name you as my sole heir, you still have an honest job with steady pay, as long as you work as one of my servants. On top of that, you don't have to spend money on a place to stay. You have access to my library, amongst other things. You can use this as a chance to learn skills that might help you get a job in the future. The only downside is that you have to deal with me. It's a bigger downside than you think it is. Maybe. But is it big enough to make you reject my offer? I'd love to say that it is, but I force myself to swallow my pride. It's a good offer, and if he's being honest, then it'd be wonderful if I could give my mother a future where she doesn't have to work. She's done enough of that to last a lifetime. No, it isn't. I'll stay, at least for a bit longer. Alright. It's a deal then. You convince me you're able to take my place when I die, and I will name you my heir. He extends his hand, intending to seal the deal with a handshake. I sigh and head over to his side. Take his hand into mine and shake it, and he nods approvingly and lets go. We're done now. I have some lukewarm soup to get through. It's time for you to take your leave. Right. I turn and head back for the door. Oh, Marcel. Yes? Send Vincent up. I need to speak with him. Don't worry. Our deal will remain between us. I don't want him and the others granting you any special favours. I nod and finally push the door open before heading back towards the kitchen to find Vincent. So we're raising our decorum pretty efficiently. So let's keep working on that. Kamal and I stand side by side in the library as Vincent places a stack of books down on the nearest table. We intended to do this part by ourselves, but when we told Vincent our plans to improve the garden, he insisted on helping us get set up. I've picked out a few books that I thought might be helpful. I figured the encyclopedias on plants would be best for what you two are planning. However, if you do happen to need more specific information, you should be able to find what you need on this shelf over here. He steps over to the indicated shelf and gestures towards the general section, giving us a very clear idea of where the extra resources are located. Anyway, I think that's all I needed to go over. Did you need anything else to get you started on your project? You've already done more than enough. Thanks, Vincent. Vincent nods. Well then, I wish you good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing your results. You know, you could stay and help us pick something out. Vincent shakes his head. I'm afraid I can't really spare any more time than I already have. Besides, I trust you two will be able to come up with something more than satisfactory without my assistance. Now, if that's all, I'd better get going. Yeah, that's it. Vincent gives us a small bow and leaves us on our own. Once I'm sure Vincent is gone, I go ahead and speak up. I would have been surprised if he actually did join us. Kamal chuckles. Yeah, me too. And yet you asked anyway. Well, I think he likes being asked, even if he never accepts. Of course, that could just be me making assumptions. I see. You're actually a thoughtful guy. You think so? I do. I'm not so sure. Vincent's kind of a special case. If I didn't worry about him, I'm not sure anyone else would be kind to make a point of it. But with the others, well, I don't feel like I need to bother. If they get overwhelmed, they just quit, and that happens so often there's not much point counting on anyone other than Vincent staying for a long time. I chefed uncomfortably. It was a simple comment, but it stings a little. If only Vincent is special, and that means I'm part of the group that's not worth worrying about. That realization shouldn't be surprising. I haven't spent an especially significant amount of time with Kamal yet, but it kind of is. I thought, well, I guess in my arrogance, I thought I already ranked a little higher than most people with Kamal. I like to argue with him, say I'm different from the rest of them, that he can count on me sticking around as well, but it's not really true. I mean, I didn't start working here with the intention of staying long. Probably do deserve to be in that second category. I know I should just suffer the comment silently, but I can't help but feel a little petty. I try to bring it up as a joke, but a little more honesty seeps in my tone than I would have liked. So you don't bother worrying about me, huh? Kamal smiles. Nope. Might as well just have punched me. Then again, a punch from Kamal would probably hurt a lot worse than his biting comment. He's an ex-gladiator after all. That was blunt. Well, sets his hand at the top of my head and ruffles my hair. Hey! Don't look so dejected, it's not what you think. I'm not worried about you because I don't need to be. You're the type of person that'll sort most things out on your own. If you do happen to need help, you'll ask for it when you get desperate enough. Unlike Vincent. You seem pretty confident of that, despite the fact you haven't known me for that long. I'm fairly good at reading people. Had to be when I was in the arena. Besides, you haven't given me a reason to think otherwise yet. Until then, I've learned working with that assumption. So no, I'm not worried about you. Alright, I guess I can accept that. I'm a little flattered, actually. It's not a bad thing to be seen as self-reliant. Still, it'd be nice if you worried a little anyway. But that's beside the point. We've got work to do. Right, we should get started. We've wasted enough time already. Kamal nods, heads over to the table where Vincent placed a stack of recommended books. Pulls out a chair for me and waits for me to take a seat, before taking the seat across from mine. Pick up the first book and get started, flipping it open to the first page. So, just keep looking until we see a picture we like? That's what I was going to do. I nod and turn my attention back to the book, flip through a few pages and try to imagine how each flower will look in the garden. Flowers aren't exactly my type of thing, but there are a few neat ones to choose from. I notice that I tend to like ones with sharper looking, spade-like petals over the ones with softer, round petals. Of course, the ones I like probably give off a less welcome feel than the others, so it might be better to go with softer looking ones. Well, that could just be stupid and I could be overthinking this. I turn the page and try not to worry about it. There's still a good chunk of the book to sift through before coming to a decision. Maybe I'll find a good compromise. How about this one? Look up from my book and look at the picture Kamal was showing me. It's a badass looking flower with thorns and many long blade-like petals bursting from the centre. Fortunately, it's a yellow-green colour, maybe more on the green side. Way more on the green side. It wouldn't exactly stand out and wouldn't solve my complaint about the garden looking a bit pale. I'm actually a bit impressed that of all the flowers he could have chosen, Kamal managed to pick out a green one. I mean, it's not exactly a common flower colour, is it? It's nice, but how do I put this gently? Kamal likes it straightforward anyway. It's green. Kamal frowns and turns the book back towards him, giving the picture another look. Not red then. Nope, not red. Well, maybe it comes in red. Did you read the description? We can still make it work. Kamal takes a minute to scan the contents of the page and lets me know his findings. No, just the colour pictured. Sorry. Don't apologise, it's not a big deal. And for the record, it's a pretty cool flower. We can consider including it once the garden is a bit more colourful. Yeah. Kamal scratches his head and I get the feeling he's a little embarrassed. Right, I'm going to end this part here and say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.